Good evening and welcome to the Replenish Me show. The focus of my podcast is to help female entrepreneurs to replenish themselves so that they can stay tuned to their message and purpose and powerfully impact the world. I'm your hostess, Cordelia Gaffar. I'm a best-selling author, international speaker, and a member of the All Ladies League. I'm also the chair for social media and branding, a global goodwill ambassador, and I've recently been selected for a global leadership award by Powerhouse magazine, as well as being nominated for top influencer and podcaster of the year. Amongst my books, we have America's Leading Ladies, which just released in May of 2019. And the hard copy is soon to be published. You can get a copy of any and all of my books by going to my website, cordeliagaffar.com. And it's a pleasure to have you on the show, enjoying tips and tools so that you can stay replenished in your mission and purpose as an entrepreneur. And that's why I have dynamic guests on every week. Now, it's time for the show.
So we have a sneak preview.
So welcome to the Replenish Me show, where I have dynamic guests on, like my guest today. I'm pleased to share with you something that I've been struggling with personally, which is my love-hate relationship with marketing. And when I looked around in my network of people that I know, I thought, well, let's see who could really most relate with what my struggle is. And I found this man who's named his company and book, fabulous book, where is it? Jonny Hates Marketing. I said, oh, this is my go-to guru for this. So fun fact about Jonny, actually there's a lot of fun facts about Jonny, but what I think is most interesting is not only is he a piano player, but he's also an international racing car driver, and he's of course a business coach. And so he's done many things, from having an 8-figure business all the way back down to starting out to show us how to have our little 6-figure businesses. So welcome to the show, Jonny.
Thank you so much, Cordelia. Do you know, it makes my life sound much more interesting than I remember it.
You were there.
I was there and it didn't seem anything like as interesting as that. Yeah.
So tell me, like, what were you thinking when you wrote a book called Jonny Hates Marketing? What kind of, what was happening for you? Where did it all begin?
Yeah, well, I came up with that name almost by accident. I was on another podcast actually with a great podcast producer and speaker, a chap called Scott Doucette from Canada, and Scott and I were talking about rubbish marketing ideas that we'd seen online, and kind of sleazy marketers. Flogging their miracle sort of $10,000 programs that are going to earn you 7 figures and all that kind of thing. We've all seen it. And we were just kind of, berating those kind of things and saying that we didn't really like them. And he said to me, Jonny, I don't think you like marketing at all, do you? I said, oh, no, not really, not like that. And he said, spoiler alert, Jonny hates marketing.
Ah.
And I went, say that again. That sounds quite good, that was. Because I had the previous incarnation of this business. It was pretty much the same business, focusing on supporting coaches and therapists. But it was called the Success Party. I thought that was a really smart name. I thought, yeah, nailed it there. But nobody else agreed. Everybody else thought it was shit. So I was kind of, looking to find a new name for it. And as soon as he said that, I just went, do you know what? I'm going to rename the group Jonny Hates Marketing. And he and I were proposing a podcast, which I only did 3 episodes and kind of gave up because it was a bit too early for a podcast. And that was called Jonny Hates Marketing too. But naming the Facebook group Jonny Hates Marketing, it's just kind of opened the floodgates. It's just gone vertical because people are knocking on the door, day in, day out, going, well, I hate marketing too, and I love it. Love the name of your group, all that sort of thing. So then when I came to writing the book, which was just a compilation of my daily brain tattoos, it was just natural. I just had to call it Jonny Hates Marketing. I couldn't think of anything else that would make any sense. And, I've since rebranded the website from thesuccessparty.com to johnnyhatesmarketing.com. So it was just almost an overnight transition when I discovered it. I just thought, that's great, that is. Because, one of the things that I've always thought was important about a personal brand, if you could find a way to get your name in it somehow. So what most of us end up doing is saying, the success party with Jonny Cooper, But to actually come up with a 3-word phrase that's got my name in and says everything about what I do just seemed like, too genius an idea to not take up. So here I am, yeah.
Clearly, wow. And it caught my attention because that's exactly what I was thinking after like 2 years into my business. I was like, oh my gosh, I really
Yeah.
do. You're all over the place and everyone has, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. And, and none of it makes sense and none of it really works, because you have to find your own groove and rhythm. So this is, I've started reading your book, as you can see. And what I like, just why don't you explain for the listeners what exactly is a brain tattoo?
Well, it is something which should hit you between the ears and stay there like a tattoo does. The concept of the daily brain tattoos is very small nuggets of insight into marketing, into mindset, personal branding, pretty much the whole toolkit that we need if we're going to build a thriving coaching or therapy practice in the 21st century. So I write about that every day. I've got a daily writing regime, daily writing process. I think it's massively helped me, it's massively helped me because when I write every day, I've got to find something to write about. So it makes me listen and read very closely what people are saying in my community, in the group. And if someone highlights an issue, a problem, a challenge, something that they're facing, I'll just find a way to unpack it and write about it. And these are not long form articles. I mean, I'm terrible at holding engagement for 400, 800 words, that kind of thing. Someone asked me to write an article, I go, shit, it takes about a week. But I can write one of these with, 100, 150 words in 10, 15 minutes, and I do that in an evening. It's kind of my last part of my daily process before I power down the PC and go and sit with the family for a bit. So it's just a great routine I've got into, a great habit. Yesterday I wrote Daily Brain Tattoo, DBT, number 750. So I've done 750 of these things from March 2017. And I don't want to stop. I can't stop. It seems like something I can't not do now. But there you have it. I mean, this book was a compilation of 100 of my favorites from probably the first 150. So I've got another 5 books written, well, another 4 books written already,
Yeah.
And it just seems effortless. The other thing with this that I think might be of interest to your listeners is that once you write something like that, don't just put it out into the world, stick it on your blog or something. Yes, I mean, they're all on the website. All 750 are on johnnyhatesmarketing.com. But they go out every day as an email. The Daily Brain Tattoo is literally an email for subscribers every single day. But they're also repurposed as Facebook posts, LinkedIn posts. I read them out in batches once a month. I read 30 out, and they go out as Alexa flash briefings. So you've got audio versions of all the DBTs that you can consume if you want. So, and then, once in a while, I'll compile them into a book. So it's a gift that never stops giving. When you write something that really speaks to your audience, just keep banging it out, keep repurposing it and give your audience, I look at it anyway, give your audience a choice of how they consume it. It just seems logical, isn't it?
So what I'm hearing, like as listening to you, I heard like three major nuggets there. First of all, right? Um, this was the most brilliant, simple version of repurposing content that I just heard. You know, if people didn't pick that up, you've a book, you've audio version, you've got daily social media posts, all
Yeah.
from just 10 to 15 minutes a night. Oh, and let's not forget emails. So
Yeah, the email list. So each one has God knows how many readers. I mean, there's about 700 people a day open on the email list. And it's hard to measure, isn't it? You know what social media is like, how many people are reading it. But, you know, from the comments and feedback, there's tons of engagement. And like you say, it just seems relatively effortless. I mean, you've got to come up with something. You've got to force yourself to do it, even when you don't feel like it. I'm actually, do you know what I'm doing now? This will sound insane, but I'm coming out to the States. I'm going to fly over you, actually, at about 40,000 feet. We're landing in Nashville for 5 days from the 6th to the 11th of September. And I'm spending pretty much the rest of September in LA with my brother. So what I decided to do is give myself a month off from writing. So I'm actually writing 2 a day, every day in August now.
nice.
I'm getting ahead of myself, you know, so they're all batched and ready to go. But even that doesn't seem particularly difficult. It is just a micro commitment every single day and part of a habit. Yeah.
But it seems like it's like the commitment is simple because you're heavily engaged. I'm in your private and your public group, and you're heavily engaged with your group. So it's like it's not hard for you to come up with these brain tattoos because you know exactly what your target audience wants, right?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like,
Yeah. I mean, that's at the heart of it, isn't it, Cordelia? You know, all the stuff which I teach about, you know, really understanding what it is you actually do and being able to express that in a very clear, concise way with devastating clarity, you know, and then working out who is going to benefit the most from that, you know, from what it is you do. Preferably who are the wealthiest kind of people who benefit the most from what you do if you want to build a business. So those things, you know, understanding those things mean that, you know, I position myself from day one in the middle of a community where I knew would benefit from what I do. You know, coaches and therapists are systemically poor at marketing themselves. And, you know, I'm not getting at anybody who's listening. Don't feel like I'm slagging you off. I mean, it's a different skill set, isn't it? Being a good coach says nothing about whether you're any good at marketing. Being a great therapist and healer says nothing about whether you can find any ideal clients, you know, with any level of sustainability or scalability. So it's to be expected that, you know, you could do with a bit of a hand on that. So that's what I do. And when I came to that revelation, you know, that here is a global community, expanding community, you know, never-ending growth in the coaching and therapy space of people who need what I do. I just hang out every day with you guys and see what I can do to help, you know. So it does generate the content for me. Yeah, you're right.
yeah. And one thing I've really learned from you, I enjoy writing also, but I think I responded one of your emails one time saying, wow, your emails are so easy to read and so relatable. And I think you responded back something like, feel free to not copy, but you know what I mean? Just something like this. So I have actually adopted that because that's the other thing. I feel like when it comes to writing our newsletters, we feel like we must have this long form and, you know, throw in so much information. But my emails that actually get open are short and sweet and
Yeah.
relatable.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you could argue that the subject header is what's going to get your email opened, of course. But you know, the content and the relatability of the content and the ease of digestion and reading is what's going to get tomorrow's opened, you know. Because if people think, oh, it's another one of these long blathering stories from Jonny, then, you know, your open rates are going to go down over time, and people are just going to stop reading them all together, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, for the recording, I'm going to say, let's just take a 5 minute, not a 5 minute, let's take a short commercial break, and we'll come back and dive a little bit more into what are the top 3 struggles of the people that Jonny works with.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to the Replenish Me show tonight. Tonight, I would like to introduce you to the Replenish Me program. This is a 12-step program where we start with a brain dump to release all the way through to a complete rebirth. To find out more about the Replenish Me program, which starts on August 26th, go to www.replenishme.info and find out how you can find tools and tips and community so that you can be replenished and powerfully impact the world. Now, back to our show.
All right, so now we're back, and I just want to pick up where we left off. So now that you've got these crazy open rates for your emails and this beautiful, humongous global community, what are the top 3 struggles, marketing struggles, that your coaches and therapists have?
Well, you know, that question, I don't know whether that's a question you ask all your guests, but it actually plays right into my hands, because at the core of what I do are my 3 pillars of client attraction. So I can talk to you about those, and I think that characterizes the 3 main struggles of coaches and therapists. So number 1 is this, guys, you know, working out what your superpower is, what the massive transformational benefit is that you bring to the world. And I don't mean just understanding that internally so you can discuss it in your own language, but being able to express it into the world so that you're talking about it in the language of the people who are reading it. And this is a really big piece, and there's a lot of complexity in it, because it talks about copywriting, you know, it talks about positioning, it talks about your ability to make an offer and what it is you do. But, you know, understanding that what is it you actually do? And I'll give you an example. If you're a hypnotherapist or a or a CBT specialist or an NLP practitioner, that isn't actually what you do in terms of a client wanting to work with you. I don't know if you've heard the old cliche, sell them what they want and give them what they need.
Yeah.
So the hypnotherapy, the timeline therapy, the CBT, the NLP is at the level of what they need. But what they actually want is the transformation, the massive transformation that those things will bring them. Those are on the level of tools, aren't they? They're just tools.
Yeah.
So what we actually have to get in a position to do is being able to express what you do really, really clearly. So, you know, I help coaches and therapists find more of their ideal clients more easily so that they can live a life of abundance and build a thriving practice, you know. And that brings me on to the second pillar then. Who is it for? Who is it for? And it is really, really, really tempting as a life coach to say, well, I can actually help anybody, you know, anybody who's got a mind, anybody who's got a life. I can help them. All got lives. I'm a life coach. There you go. But that's why it all just collapses. It never gets off the ground, because if you try and appeal to everyone, you'll appeal to no one.
Yeah.
And, you know, the number 1 success trait in our industry, you know, as coaches and therapists, is being able to appeal to a specific sector of the global audience and to make them feel that you are the person that people like them hang out with. I'll show you on this book here, right? For the benefit of the podcast listeners, I'm holding up a copy here of This Is Marketing by Seth Godin, which is his latest masterwork. Pretty much everything he's written is a Bible for our industry, if you like. But on the back of this book, there's a little nugget that I just keep reading. It's on my stand to the left of my screen. I see it every day. It's a 7-word phrase, and it says, people like us do things like this. And what Seth's saying about that is that if you can get your ideal client to find you for the first time and say, great, I'm home. People like me do things like this. People like me hang out with Jonny. People like me hang out with Cordelia. Then you've cracked it, because you've got then that perfect storm of expressing what you do and putting it in front of an audience who feels that they need you more than ever. Your irresistible offer is crafted at that point. You can pretty much say anything to them and they'll come and eat from your hand, So those first 2 pillars, what it is you do and who it's for, are the 2 biggest challenges, I think, for coaches and therapists. And it's the things that are most commonly missed in a coaching practice. And this is not just beginners. This is people who've been doing it for years and have, maybe built a local presence. We see therapists who have, a studio in the local high street. People come in there and work with them, but not enough and not frequently. And they don't pay them enough either. The third pillar then is the kind of antidote to that one-on-one, clients knocking on your door and coming in and sitting in your studio, in your office. And this is productizing your services. This is how you deliver. So the first 2 pillars are what and who. The third one neatly is how. What is your delivery method? And if it's just one-on-one coaching or therapy, then you're going to have to charge a hell of a lot of money to build a thriving practice and build a sustainable, scalable practice. For most people, one-on-one client work simply means that you run out of time before you run out of ambition. Yeah, there's no way that you can fit in enough people on a one-to-one basis to actually make a really big business out of it. There are exceptions to that. When you get to the level of, Steve Hardison, for instance, out of Arizona, who's charging $100,000 a year entry, up to $1 million a year. But I think, for most of us who are trying to build a sustainable practice from scratch, productizing your services, building a program that people can join more than one at a time, is the key to getting going, isn't it? So building a group program, it can be quite a small group program. Mine has only 4 or 5 people on it each month, but I'm actually on, it's called the Client Attraction Blueprint. I'm actually just about to launch CAB 18 next month. So it's been going for 18 months. I've had an intake every month consecutively for 18 months. And that's because I haven't set myself either a vague goal or a massive goal. My goal is very specific. I want to intake 4 people every single month. That's 4 sales every month. And within that, there's some time leverage thing. Because, I'm working with 4 people at the same time.
I'm sorry, you got me so excited.
That's
just
right.
had like a total epiphany, right? Because people, they set these humongous goals, right? And the thing is, get 10 people into your group program and launch every 3 months. But what you just said was just amazing. It's very achievable to get 4 to 5 people in a group every month.
It's a sale a week. If you can't make a sale a week, what are you doing? Why are you doing this job? Go and do something else. Another career beckons. You can't make a sale every week. It's a wasted week, isn't it? You're not just barking up the wrong tree, you're in the wrong forest. If you can't make a sale a week. Just have 3 or 4 conversations a week with people who look like your next ideal client, and you will make a sale a week. It has to happen, doesn't it?
It does. And that's the key. I love also that you said it's a conversation, right? And I think that was my struggle, because I felt like I had to sell people, right? And I didn't see it as it's just the same conversation I'm already having with people about something that I really love and enjoy.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
At the end, it's just like, oh, and I can help you with that, Yeah. And so I like that. So tell us a little bit more about your CAB, and how would people uh, become part of that program?
Yeah, well, it's dead easy. I mean, it's called the Client Attraction Blueprint. There's no convoluted route to getting on. Just drop me a DM and we'll schedule a conversation and we'll talk about it. You know, it sounds like a cliche, this, but I want to talk about your suitability for it. There's only 4 places a month. Sometimes we stretch it to 5. But I'm not suggesting it's super exclusive either. It's not particularly expensive. You know, it's a mid-price, high-ticket program, I guess you might call it. But yeah, just reach out. You can DM me on Facebook. It's Jonny without an H, Cooper. Drop me a DM. We can talk about. Hey, cool. But you know, I'll extend this to all your listeners anyway, Cordelia. You know, because you've been kind enough to get me on your podcast. You know, and talking to your wonderful tribe. If anybody would like to reach out and talk about the challenges that you're having, building your coaching or therapy or training business or your speaking business, anything like that in the service industry where you need a steady flow of new clients and that would be suitable for a program of your own, a signature program, then I can work with you and develop for you and with you your own signature program. We'll take an end-to-end look at all the digital marketing platforms that you can be using to promote it. And, you know, as I hope I've been able to express today a little bit, you know, take the overwhelm out of it, you know, drill down to the simple little daily tasks that are going to make you sales, make you money, get you impact with your ideal clients. So it's a kind of end-to-end, you know, operations manual for a thriving practice, I guess, the CAB, a Client Attraction Blueprint. I've got some spaces out for September, so you know, anybody who fancies having a talk with me about it, you can do. You know, just drop me a DM in Facebook, Jonny Cooper, JNNY. More than happy to talk. And of course, a great starting point if you don't want to chat with me, you can just join the group. Jonny Hates Marketing is very, very easy to find. There are no variations on it. There's no Brian Hates Marketing or, you know, Sheila Hates Marketing to get you confused. So the Facebook search always finds me. So yeah, I'm here to help if anyone needs me.
Yeah, thank you for that. So see, that was like our commercial break just now. So it was. I like that. So, but of course, this whole podcast is or this particular show is to highlight what you offer and also to address some of the issues that my listeners have. So, you know, I am mostly focused on female entrepreneurs who are starting their business, and so that they can, you know, stay replenished in their purpose and mission and
Yeah, it's beautiful.
make a powerful impact on the world. So some person help me say that a little bit cleaner. And so is there anything in particular that you've noticed in working with women versus working with men?
Wow. I'm going to get into some kind of misogynist difficulties here, aren't I? No,
No.
not at all. I am completely gender agnostic. I mean, it makes no difference to me. I will say I seem to be attracting more women than men onto my programs at the rate of about 3 to 1.
Oh, wow.
I think the reason for that is that the boom in the coaching sector is largely fueled, I think, by women who get to a point perhaps in life where they realize that they've got massive life experience. They're sick of doing the jobs that they're doing. Or it could be, you know, in the standard sort of nuclear family, if you like, that, you know, the kids have grown up, left home. So they're kind of looking for something to do. Whereas, you know, their spouse, their male counterpart may well have just had a career forever, you know, and it's just kind of rolling on. So I find that a lot of females who join my program are coming from that point where they're transitioning from their former life into coaching or therapy, something they may have just learned some skills, and they don't have a client base. They got no historic record in marketing or anything like that. And I think the stuff I do just really fits in well with that. It just gives them that leg up, if you like, that first step on the ladder to building a blueprint for a thriving practice. So they can get on with their coaching and therapizing, and I can help with the marketing piece.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, if I look at the group members, it's pretty, you're right. It is about I think it's really 50-50 split between men and women. But what I've noticed about the men, I think so. I mean, you probably know your actual stats, but what I can see from the men that are in your group, they are not as I don't know how to put this, like,
Engaged?
no, they're quite engaged. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that their energy is a lot softer, right? They're not very salesy type of people. Yeah.
Yeah, well, just looking at my group insights, it is almost 50-50, I think. In fact, I can just do that now in the group, can't I? And this will be on camera as well. So let's just have a look. More member details. So yeah. Wowzer, that surprises me actually, because this is at odds with the people who actually join the Client Attraction Blueprint. So in my group, and I think I don't know whether you guys can see that on the live feed, it's actually 55% men.
Yeah.
And 45% women. 56-44. However, I can tell you from empirical research, it is 3-1. I've had groups with all women. Actually, CAB 13 was 5 women. CAB 14 was 2 men, 3 women. Yeah, so it's the jury's out. But my instinct is that women just seem to be more prevalent in coaching and therapy, and they seem more eager to learn some of this basic stuff as well. I mean, maybe there's a daily brain tattoo or two around this bit.
Let me just look. I was actually looking for one earlier. I was like, there was one that really spoke to me, and I didn't.
About why women need it more than men.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one thing that comes up for me is there's one that says you as a brand. And I know that women have, I struggled personally with, talking about myself and presenting myself, and celebrating that. So, but I'm just going to read that if it's okay.
Yeah, of course.
Your personal brand should be a reflection of who you are, what you represent, and what you're passionate about. Contribute your voice to public discussions, forums, podcasts, and more to give people opportunities to connect with you and recognize your value in their lives. Putting work into communication, writing white papers, ebooks, and blogs to build an online presence will help you achieve notoriety. Once people accept you in relation to a specific subject or area of expertise, you will be positioned as an authority and a leader in that field. Then the magic happens. Customers will come to you, saving you the heartache and grind of having to go to them. Be irreplaceable. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
So.
Yeah, I mean that pretty much sums it up, I think, doesn't it? Just going back, thinking about what you said about the difference between males and females. I suppose that there's probably a bit more easy brashness sometimes in the male psyche, where they can just go out and puff the chest out and shout a little bit louder, But I think that's changing. I don't want to in any way stereotype males and females. There are some wonderfully expressive and visible women in my community, like you, Cordelia. So I wouldn't say that's that's a golden rule. It's just kind of a broad brushstroke. And maybe, you know, men are probably more reluctant to reach out for help sometimes, aren't they?
This is true.
You know, it's the old cliche, you know, the married couple in a car. You know, if the man's driving, he's never going to stop and ask for directions, is he?
No.
He always thinks he knows the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I have to say, one of the beautiful things about your community, your public group and your private group, is the energy in there. There's so much engagement, and you feel really truly supported. You know, so tell me, how do you cultivate that? You know, a lot of people struggle with that in their Facebook groups.
Well, I'll tell you what tell you what it is with me. Certainly what it was, and probably still is. I was just afraid of looking stupid. I didn't want to build a group of people and then have nobody interacting and zero engagement. I mean, I'm like just like the next person. You know, I get the little, what is it, the endorphin rush when somebody likes a post and somebody comments. So I've just gone out of my way to speak to my community in a way that they see me as a person of interest, I guess, you know. And there's a bit of study behind it, a bit of, you know, process, understanding a bit about the LinkedIn, yes, but the Facebook algorithm, the social media algorithm. What does the platform want from me in order to show my post to more people? You know, and that's a really important question. You know, how do I play the game that Facebook needs me to play so they're going to show my stuff to more people than ever? So there's the obvious stuff like, you know, don't just share a post from somebody else's timeline without any commentary of your own. You know, don't just share a link to a news platform or something, you know. Talk to the people who are in the group as you would like to be spoken to, you know. If you join the group and the group moderator never welcomes you, never encourages you to post anything, never talks to you, then why would you stay there? You know, why would you even engage with it? I think the worst thing that can happen when you have a Facebook group, you know, let's talk platform specific, is that there's a whole bunch of people feel disenfranchised and never go back to it and switch off notifications. That's bad on two counts. Firstly, it doesn't do you any good because you never get to talk to people who might otherwise be your ideal clients. But also, the Facebook algorithm says, well, hang on, there's 3,000 people in this group, you know, and 2,995 never show up, never do anything. Therefore, we're going to mark the group down on the algorithm, you know, and nothing anybody posts in the future is going to get any reach. You know, we're not going to show it to anyone. Wow. So yeah, I do this thing habitually now in the morning, 7:30. I've either scheduled it the night before, or literally one of the first tasks when I wake up is to think about what can I ask my community right now that'll wake them up, or get them out of bed, get them responding. I just ask some bonkers question, you know, that'll wake them up and make them go, okay, let's answer that. Like, what skills will be most in demand in the next 10 years?
I'm still thinking on that. I'm like, I have no idea how to answer that.
Well, 189 comments.
Yeah.
That's 4 days ago. What did we do this morning? I can't quite remember. How do you ask for referrals? Another 144 comments. Do you feel like this business is harder than you thought it would be? The ones that really engage are the really simple questions, you know, that you can answer in a few words. The people in ordinary jobs think you are weird. That was one from 3 days ago. Yeah. Just follow your passion, inverted commas. Terrible advice, right? 105 comments, that sort of thing. So, you know, if you awaken the algorithm on social media and keep it awake with stuff that engages people, then, you know, you're on the way, aren't you? This morning I asked 9 hours ago, do you feel like you're creating freedom for yourself through your business? I mean, that's such a biggie, isn't it? Because these kind of posts do a number of things for you, see, when you're curating your group. It points you to people who really need your help. Because some people have answered that question and they've said, well, I'm trying, but I'm not quite there yet. So all you have to do then to get closer to a potential sale is to send a direct message to that person who said, well, I'm trying to create freedom. That's what I want, but I'm not quite there yet. You'd send them a direct message and say, well, you know, I feel your pain. Thanks for commenting on the post. Let's jump on a quick call sometime, see if I can share any insights. And then post your scheduling link. And you get on a call then, don't you? A Zoom call. And that's where the magic happens. 3 or 4 of those a week. Like I say, if you can't make 1 sale a week from that process, then, you know, reconsider your career. And you know, it's just that easy, really. And it's that much fun. You can probably gauge from, you know, the way I'm putting this across. I hugely enjoy this. You know, it's both a privilege and a pleasure to be working in this way and to getting paid for doing it. You know, I can't think of a better way to build a business going forwards.
Absolutely. And I love that. You know, that kind of goes back to like where we started this conversation. You know, people think that market research is super hard, but like you just proved, just ask,
Yeah.
you know, questions related to what you do, you know, and then reach out to people and that are already engaged with you and start a conversation. It's not
Yeah.
really, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But people who already know you a bit, you know, and it doesn't have to take long. I mean, people join the group, you know, on day one, post something. We can respond to that on day one. I would have call booked on day 2, you know. So this stuff isn't about necessarily, you know, long-term nurturing, although there is an element of that. You know, some people pop out of the woodwork after a year or so in the group and say, you know, oh, I've been so long in this community, I think it's about time we work together, you know. But, you know, you can engineer that yourself so that, you know, people just join the group and you start a conversation with them if they look like your ideal client.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, what we're going to be doing actually in a couple of weeks' time, we're running what I call a simple summer sales challenge, one of my SSSC acronyms, and we're just inviting members of the group to join us on a 5-day journey of discovery to how to make some sales, and part of it is going to be how to make a sale today. You know, answering a question that somebody asked me back in January. They said, Jonny, I'm in a right mess. I've got a £5,000 tax bill to pay by the end of January. What shall I do? So we're going to, you know, put some sales strategies out there that answer questions like that, you know, and get you making sales during the challenge, you know, hopefully. So that's all kicking off on the 19th of August. If you listen to this podcast before the 19th, I'm hoping that'll be happening, Cordelia. Otherwise, I'll have to re-record this bit.
No, this actually goes live tomorrow night, August 7th.
Woo!
Yeah.
You did tell me, but I ignored it. I forgot. Sorry. So the 19th of August, folks, we have a simple summer sales challenge kicking off in the Jonny Hates Marketing Facebook group. So the way to access that is just jump into Jonny Hates Marketing on Facebook in the group, and you'll see the banners to it everywhere. It's completely free. We've got over 100 people registered already. And what we're going to be doing is highlighting ways to make some sales, you know, during August and early September, so that you get away from this kind of summer dip idea. So I'd love some of your listeners, if not all of your listeners, come on, guys, to join the Simple Summer Sales Challenge. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it will be. Thank you for that, because I was just about to ask you, you know, before you wrap up, is there anything special you want to share? So, but I knew what it was.
You don't even have to prompt me on this stuff. It just
I
pours
know.
out of my mouth, doesn't it?
That's the great thing about like interviewing someone who actually does marketing. They know what to say.
Oh,
You're like looking at the clock. Okay, I've got about 3 minutes left. Let me just throw this in there.
go.
So that was perfect.
Fantastic.
Are there any more words of wisdom that you would like to share before we end, though, today?
Oh, come on, don't tempt me. You know, I can I can talk the hind legs off a donkey, as we say. No, look, I mean, this process of the 3 pillars, I think, is at the heart of what has turned my life around, and the lives of, dozens of coaches and therapists who've been on the Client Attraction Blueprint program since we launched last March. Just get a deep understanding of what it is you really do, not the tools, but what you actually bring to the world. What benefit do people get from working with you? Get a deep understanding of who would benefit the most from that you do, and then productize it. Create a program that you can corral people together on. A regular monthly intake seems the right vibe for me and most people. And then just set yourself that simple task. If you've got to make 1 sale a week, then make a sale a week, and your business is thriving. And if you price that right and do it consistently, you've got a 6-figure business in a box. You've got a 6-figure business from day one. It doesn't take a lot of building. It doesn't take a glide slope. Nothing has to happen first. Just get on with it.
Absolutely. Beautiful. So you heard it here. Our love-hate relationship with marketing has just all been resolved in this hour.
We love it again. Listen, I'm not going to change it to Jonny Loves Marketing. It's not the same.
I know.
Not the same.
Find Jonny Cooper at Jonny Hates Marketing on Facebook. He's invited you to reach out to him directly. And if you're watching this on Facebook, you can post your questions under there. But if you're listening on the podcast, also feel free to reach out in that way. I'll be posting the link to his website. Were there any questions, by the way, that you saw on the Facebook?
Not questions, people just sending some love. My old mate Paul Britton says, enjoying your live feed. Jim J. Doyle confirmed what we already knew, that Cordelia is very insightful. And he's given me some love as well, saying that he loves my book title. So it's all good. We're happy, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Awesome. And also for this podcast and for all previous ones, you can visit my website, cordeliagaffar.com. Thank you.
The Replenish Me show has sponsors. One of our sponsors is Biz of We. That is Biz of Women Entrepreneurs. Paulina Lopez is the founder and the main mastermind brain behind the Biz of We. And she has an upcoming summit called the Biz of We Summit, October 4th in New York, New York. This is a day where you get community, tools and tips on how to promote your business and really create a community surrounding your message and purpose. She focuses mostly on face-to-face, in-person business, and all the women in this community are highly expert in everything that they do. I can attest to the type of people that she draws, and I recently attended one of her wellness retreats in the Dominican Republic, which she has every year. The beautiful thing about that is she only selects 25 women to attend that retreat from her in-person network. So you want to attend the Biz of We Summit so that you can get to know and be part of the community and possibly benefit from going to the wellness retreat. Again, that is Biz of We in October 4th, and that'll be an all-day summit. You want to go to bit.ly/Biz of We Summit to get your ticket now. And now back to the show. Save the date. Do you live in Dallas or are you local to Dallas? Well, All Ladies League USA Entrepreneurship Chapter is having our inaugural conference September 27th and 28th. As you know, I am the chair for the social media and branding committee for All Ladies League. This will be a 2-day event starting the evening of Friday, September 27th and all day September 28th. We have an amazing lineup of speakers that will help you with both your personal development and your business development. This is an event that you definitely want to attend. Bring a friend and register at bit.ly/all-dallas. And that is all caps for ALLDALLAS. And now back to the Replenish Me show. Thank you for listening to the Replenish Me show. Tonight, you have learned from the expertise of my guest, and whatever you've gained, remember that sharing is caring. So please share this with a friend. You can listen to the replay of this broadcast and all previous shows by going to cordeliagaffar.com, and remember to have replenishing thoughts. See you next week.